Universe is not on a budget. There's infinite wealth to go around. Money is just money. Please, let's right now start to unwind this old, outdated belief system that money is evil. There is nothing evil about money. Nothing evil about money. It is what the person does with it. Welcome to the Spirit and Soul Podcast. Your life is about to get a soul-based makeover. Discover what it is to live intentionally, manifest your best life, and release what holds you back with your host, Tiffany Cohen from Spirit and Soul Studio. In this podcast, we're talking all about manifesting, magic, crystals, and more. You'll get to hear conversations with some of the most magical people in the world and begin to live your life from your spirit and soul. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Spirit and Soul Podcast. Oh, I am so excited for this series because I have been circling around what is the blocks to abundance in my Instagram reels lately. And I talk about this so much with clients, and people are constantly coming into Spirit and Soul wanting to attract wealth, wanting to bring in more money into their lives. And the thing is this, you can want to manifest all the money in the world. And you can light Frank's money candles and you can spray all the sprays. But at the end of the day, if you have a belief system that says money is evil, or it's not fair for one person to have a lot of money, or money doesn't grow on trees, or it's really hard to make money, that if you have all these belief systems in place, no amount of candles are going to help you with that. And so the money that you want to receive in your life becomes blocked by your own belief systems. And a lot of times we don't even know what those belief systems are. We just have been living with it for so long because it's ingrained in our lives a lot of times from the way that our parents saw money and our grandparents saw money. And so we just adopt their belief systems around money, and it may be even ingrained into like your physical being as an ancestral thing. And so when we can start to unpack and unravel those things, we start to see that money is actually a beautiful frequency for us to be able to tap into. That money is an energy. And that's all that money is. And it is what you do with the money, how you call it into your life, how you spend it and receive it and do all of those things that actually create your money frequency. So let's get into it. So I recently was on the Mystic Millionaire podcast, which was so great with Danielle Amos. And it was such a beautiful conversation around calling in more wealth, more money into your life. And here's the thing. I want to give you some of my belief systems around money, because if you know me, you know that I am constantly manifesting money. I can call in money so easily, so quickly. And on top of it, I have whole altars dedicated to calling in money. Now, some could look at that and say like, oh, she's greedy. All she wants is money. Or if you know me and my values, you know that I am a big believer in the more money I make, the more people I can help. That is my biggest value. And so if I have a purpose in this life of helping as many people as possible, spreading this message that you have the ability to transform your life, that you can rewrite your stories, that you can live the life that you were meant to live, no matter what that looks like for you, then I am going to want to be driven to continuously make that money in order to help those people get on the stages, have more resources to do these things, have more conversations with people, go to different places and change lives. Because I am also a believer that when you sit with me, whether it's next to me at dinner, whether I'm on a stage and you're receiving, that I can change your life in some way. That's something I say, my energy field can change your life. And I am a very big believer, and I trust in that in so many different ways. And so I know that if I can get into all these places, and Spirit and Soul can get into all these places, that we can actually transform lives. But we need money to do that. Right? We are also a business. and businesses need money to survive in order to do the good in the world that they need to do. And so I do have money altars, and we do manifest money because manifesting money creates more good in the world. Now, I also understand that there have been so many stories around money that we have been shown where there's like this belief system that money is the root of all evil. That's like something that you actually hear. It's a quote, right? And I think that this is a big block for people. And so I say this because when I was on this podcast, it was so beautiful. And we had these really great conversations. And there was a clip that came out. And the clip that came out was saying, like, why wouldn't people want to be a billionaire? Because if you know me, you know I'm known as the $1 billion healer. So why wouldn't somebody want to be a billionaire? What do you say to somebody that doesn't want to be? And, the clip was chopped up and I said, well, I would ask the person why? Why wouldn't they want to be a billionaire? And Danielle went on to agree and say, yeah, like we should all want to be in this because we can do amazing things with this money, right? And there was a person that commented saying, this conversation is disgusting, then proceeded to send me messages on Instagram about greed, like quotes and things like that. And I don't take these things personally because here's the thing that I know to be true is that everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own truth. And so if I know that everybody has their own truth, that is not my truth, but that is her truth around money, right? And so you can deduce that she has a thing that having a lot of money is evil. And so let's break this down because that is not a truth. And we can see that. We can see evidence of it. We can see evidence that people who have a lot of money have done some bad things with money. Like look at the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, right? That they've done really bad things. And also, we can also look at evidence that people who have made a ton of money have actually done some amazing things in the world. And so this is where we need to take the step back and say, money is just a frequency. Money is just an energy that we get to work within, tap into, and receive. And also give because we live in a reciprocal universe. Reciprocal meaning that if you give, you receive, right? So if you are just receiving, well, there is an imbalance in the universe there. And it also, on the other end of that, if you are just giving, then there is an imbalance in the universe there. And at some point you feel it along the way. Now, let's talk about money as a frequency. There is a low end frequency to money, just as there is with all things. And there is a high end frequency of money. So if we look at the low end frequency, let's say it's a penny, okay, 1 cent. We look at that and we say that is a low end. Is that a bad frequency? No, it's just lower end on the spectrum. You can't have impact off of 1 penny, right? There's no impact that can be had. There's no responsibility that really comes with 1 penny and what you can do with it. But when you look at the energy or frequency of $1 billion, there is so much more frequency. That is a higher end frequency. There's more responsibility that comes with $1 billion. There's more impact that can come with $1 billion. And so you also have to be at a higher level frequency in order to have the capacity to even call in $1 billion. Like you can find a penny on the street. You can't find $1 billion on the street. Right? So there is a capacity frequency that comes with higher level energies of money. If we look at $1 million and $1 billion, even those are very different. Even those are very different. Actually, Eric Edmeades, when we were at Unlimited, he made this point that was so amazing. He said that you right now, sitting where you are closer to being a millionaire than millionaires are closer to being billionaires. Think about that for a minute. That is crazy. And the reason that I call myself the $1 billion healer and others call me the $1 billion healer is not about the $1 billion. It's about this higher end energy because millionaires are all over the place. You probably know some millionaires, okay? They're all over. It's wonderful that there are so many millionaires, right? Because that makes it very possible for us to achieve it as well. However, if you even try to think about the energy of what it is to be a billionaire, you may not even be able to wrap your mind around it. And so because you can't wrap your mind around what it is to be a billionaire, you may be putting a thought around what the person had to do to get there, or what they do with their money, or it's not fair, right? And so you are putting a frequency around that. But the reality is that the $1 billion is just a frequency that that person had the capacity to hold. For me, when I look at this, I say that person must have had to grow exponentially in some way in their life in order for them to believe that they had the capacity to hold that frequency and then continue to be that frequency. And this is not saying that they are doing good things or bad things with their money. This is just saying that they had the ability to manifest it, because you are sitting there right now. And if you are not a billionaire, then you are not in the frequency to call in $1 billion at this moment. And so what that means is that you have every single ability to call in $1 billion. And so what I want you to do is tap into that limitless potential. And that's what I do with people. I blow the ceilings off of your belief systems and what you think is possible for you so that you could call in $1 billion. But it's not about the $1 billion. It's never been about the $1 billion. It's about who you have to become in order to hold the frequency of $1 billion. And to me, $1 billion feels pretty limitless, right? Like if you're a billionaire, there's literally nothing realistically that you can't do that, like, oh, I feel like going on a trip today. Like, let's just go. You don't have to think about it. You can give away half of your money and still be crazy rich and still be able to live life like that. And a lot of these billionaires do that. I just read something about Jeff Bezos's ex-wife, who signed up for giving away like basically all of her fortune, like over time. And she's then just creating more, because when you are at this level of creating that type of money, you know that you can just continuously create it because you recognize, are you ready, that the universe is not on a budget. The universe is not on a budget. There's infinite wealth to go around. There's infinite abundance to go around. And if you can't wrap your mind around that, you will always play small. And then because you're playing small, or because you have these belief systems, you will put a judgment on the people who actually have been able to transcend that. Now, I will preface this by saying that, yeah, there are people that don't do good things with money. They don't, but that is not money's fault. That is the person's consciousness. That is the person's decision making that is choosing that. And so it's not a fair assessment to say that money is the root of all evil, because money didn't do anything to you. It was just available. It was what other people did with it that made it bad, made it not so good. And then we turn our attention, though, to the people that have this money, that have been able to grow into the person that can have the capacity to have that type of money, and that how much good that they are doing in the world. I look at the Sunira Madanis of the world, right? Like Sunira Madani, she's on the podcast. We had an incredible interview. But we look at the Sunira Madanis of the world who created from nothing. Like, understand this. She was literally selling her product out of the trunk of her car, and she sold her business for over $1 billion, right? And in the midst of doing that, she saw that she had the capacity to make money, and she started to give back to the community of women entrepreneurs that were struggling, that didn't believe in themselves, that felt like they couldn't do it. And she let herself be a light to those people and then gave knowledge to them. And she formed CEO School, and she formed Millionaire Founders Club. She formed all of these things so that she can help lift other women up in business, because she saw that she was able to do it. So why not you, right? And so for people like that, when we look at the Suniras of the world who do give back, who constantly are giving back to charities and helping other people and doing big things with her beautiful fortune that she earned, that she had the capacity to hold, we look at that and say, that is money doing good in the world. But it's not just money doing good in the world. It's the person behind it that's allocating it, that's saying, give this here, do this there. Let's do this for people. And so the more money you make, the more people you can help. And so when I hear things like money is a root of all evil or wanting to be a billionaire is disgusting, I look at that and I say that is a person that is thinking from a limited capacity on their own capacity to hold that type of frequency and their own belief systems around what people do with money. Or they're really looking at money and saying money is bad. Money changes people. Money is just money, my friends. Money is just money. Please, let's right now start to unwind this old, outdated belief system that money is evil. There is nothing evil about money. Nothing evil about money. It is what the person does with it. And so now that we can start to see that, we can start to say, well, you know what? I will do good with money, right? I will do good with it. And you can allow yourself to start calling it in and knowing that like you're not going to burn in hell over money, right? At all. You're going to help people. The other belief system that I see a lot, and I see this in many different arenas, but it's the thing of, and maybe this is a part of this person's comment as well, is that if one person has, then that means that other people don't get to have. And like I said before, baby, the universe is not on a budget. There is enough to go around for everybody. And the person sent me this comment that was a Gandhi quote that said, there's always more than enough for your needs. And I'm like, why would we want to have just enough for our needs? Because having just enough feels like scarcity. It feels like lack. It feels like you're just paying your bills and you have nothing else to show for it. Right? You're just barely probably making it by. You're nervous that you're going to pay your mortgage, pay your rent, pay the rest, your utility bills and all the things. And then you don't have enough to live. Right? And so the thought is, well, if other people have, then everybody else has a lack. There's so many millionaires in the world. Why can't you be one? Right? There's nothing that's stopping you from being a millionaire. And let me tell you something, there's nothing that's stopping you from being a billionaire. There's nothing special about a billionaire besides their capacity to hold that $1 billion and what they had to do to achieve it. That's really what it is. And so what I say here is that we really need to stop looking at they have, and that means nobody else can have. If they can have, let them be the shining example to you of what is possible. Like when I look at people that have yachts and private jets and all these things, I'm not mad at them for that. I'm like, that person did the work. That person must have done the things that they needed to do and not slept on their dreams and gave it their all. They believed in themselves or they did it anyway, even if the belief system wasn't there, right? In order to achieve it. I'm not saying, well, they have, so that means I can't have, right? So we have to really look at life and ask ourselves these questions about what is the belief system? What do I think about money when I see other people have money or when I hear people start to talk about money? What do I get so triggered over? Right? Like why am I so triggered about this? And let that be your moment to dive in deep into it. Because the second that you are self-aware about what is holding you back is the moment that you get to now change your life, that you get to decide. Because the thing is, there was a judgment being passed here, right? And let's look at this block, because this is another big block right now, is judgment. Judgment of the self, judgment of others. And obviously in this comment, there was a judgment being passed. And listen, I mean, none of us have to ever justify why we want the things that we want, right? At all. And so if someone else is judging me for what my belief systems are, I don't have to accept it, right? I don't have to accept it because I know that the world would be a better place because I had the money to be able to give back and do the big things that I wanted to do with this money to help other people. And of course, let's be realistic. Of course, I'm going to benefit from that. Of course, I'm going to live the abundant life that I know that I'm destined to live. Of course, my family and my friends are going to reap the benefits of that because there's more than enough to go around for everybody. There's more than enough. And we get to live a wonderful life. And because especially here at Spirit and Soul and what we're doing here, we are constantly giving. We are constantly giving to other people, giving love, giving energy, just holding space for people, right? Holding space so that they can be their best selves. And of course, we're going to receive because we give and we live in a reciprocal universe. And so when we're judging others, what we're really doing is judging ourselves. Like that is a mirror. That is a mirror when you're judging somebody else and what they do with their money, how they spend their money, right? I know I've done that in the past. I know I've judged people, but that's not something that I do anymore because I just see abundance all around. I truly, truly do. And so when you can see abundance all around you, there's no need to judge how others use theirs, right? It's what they see fit. Is it what you would do? No, maybe not, because that's not your truth. But let's really start to understand how we're judging other people that have money. Like when you see that person get in their supercar or they're getting in their private jet, because let's be realistic, it's prevalent all over. Let's stop for a minute and not say like, oh, look at this guy showing off. Maybe why can't he? Why can't Dan Martell show off his supercars and his private jet? Because he freaking worked his ass off to get it. He started from nothing. And he made it there. And if you look at the man, he helps so many people. He has things like King's Club helping younger boys create businesses and money in their life, keeping them on track to a good life. He shows them what's possible. So why can't we applaud him that he did it instead of being jealous that you didn't? Go out and do it. You can do that too. Like, these are the reasons why I hired Dan Martell to be my coach. Because I see what he's doing in the world. I see how he's living freely. And I'm like, that is what I want. And so I will go and get it. Watch me. I will go and get it. It's already happening. And in so doing, I already have a plan of how I'm going to give back. What is my King's Club? What are my ways that I walk in and give these giant checks to places? Do you know, like the day that I get to do that, how amazing. Talk about a manifestation coming true when you get to walk into a place with a giant ass check with a big fat number on it because you gave and gave and gave to the world and you helped the world. And so when you received it, you took it and you said, all right, yeah, I'm going to do this thing for myself and I'm also going to do this thing for others. And listen, I do get that there are a lot of people that don't do those things. They hoard and there is an energy and a mindset behind that, right? Like this is a person that maybe didn't do their own personal growth around letting go and knowing that you will receive it again, that there's a scarcity mindset. So even though they can hold a lot of money, they feel like they can't let it go either. There's always work to be done, guys. And this is what this comes down to. There's always work to be done around your belief systems around money. I mean, not even just around money, around anything, but there's always work to be done going on the journey of learning about how you operate, what your belief systems are, how you show up in the world will be your biggest unblock possible. That will be the thing that sends you crashing through the ceilings of these belief systems that were never yours in the first place. They were other people's. They were parents. They are your churches. They are the news that you see about all these bad people that have money and that aren't highlighting the good people that have money. So start turning your attention to the stories that count, to the stories that light you up, that will give you the drive and the determination to create a life for yourself that feels good. But if you keep lighting those candles and spraying the sprays, wanting money and then judging others for having it, you are not going to call it in. You will always be in struggle. You will always be in lack. Always. That is not a me belief system. That is a universal system. It is law of resonance. You know that you need more money, and yet you believe that having money is bad. They are contradicting each other, and that is your story. And so you will always stay in that until you unwind it, until you get to the root of it and say, that is not my belief system anymore. And this is my belief system. My belief system is that the universe is not on a budget, that the universe wants to support and give so that I can do amazing things with this money in the world. And you know what? Yeah, maybe it is going to change me for the better, because that is a big one too. Money will change you. Money changes you. Let it change you for the better. Let it change you to be the most giving, abundant, charitable, amazing energy possible. Okay? It can change you for good. You're just looking at the evidence of changing you for bad. And if you keep looking for that evidence, you will find it. You will find it. But if you keep looking for the evidence of the good, you will find that. And that is the ultimate flex. That is the ultimate unblock. Watch what happens when you let yourself see the good that money can do in the world. And then watch how money starts trickling in or rushing in towards you because you've been manifesting it. You've been setting up the altars. You've been doing the work, right? You've been doing the things that we talk about all the time. And now all of a sudden that one realization that you believe that money is the root of all evil, or that you judge other people for having money, or whatever your block is, that all of a sudden you crash down that wall and you just watch everything come flooding in. It's like the dam has broken and you watch it flood in. That is what happens when you get through the blocks. And so I hope that this episode resonated with you today, because I am a huge believer that every single one of us can be a billionaire. You may be sitting here right now and being like, I don't want to be a billionaire. Want to be a billionaire. It doesn't matter if you ever actually make the billions, but there is a personal growth that comes with the person that can hold that billions. And that helps you to become your best self. I'm a big believer in this. So want the billions. Whether you make it, it doesn't matter. Okay. But the money that you made along the way because you broke through so many ceilings and you were doing the work and doing all the things, that's what matters. That's what matters. But set your sights high. Have limitless potential in everything that you do, whether it's in money, whether it's in love, whatever, health, whatever it is for you, you can break through the ceiling of belief and receive infinitely. Okay? All right. So thank you for joining me on this episode of the Spirit and Soul Podcast. On the next episode, part 2, we are talking about ways that you can see abundance in your life that you might just be passing by. See you on the next episode.